So again, I would like to welcome you all to the Color Insights commercial webinar. Please note that all participants will be muted and the presentation is being recorded. The recording will be available at a later date for those who request it. And I would like this presentation to be as interactive as possible. So please comment your remarks or questions in the chat and we'll get back to them at a later moment. So my name is Samantha McLean. I am the Color Marketing Specialist here at Lorama. And today we are going to talk about trends in the commercial sector and how colors are influencing them. So to start us off, our presentation today will begin with color theory in commercial design, followed by an overview of hospitality, retail, education, trends, and design. We will be covering fresh new ideas that we believe will have an impact on design in the future. So, to create a great space, we must consider color. What color represents the brand for which we are designing? Perhaps a question of who their target clientele is. These questions will directly impact colors that are chosen. So let's discuss a bit further on the following slides, which colors are used in different sectors. So, to start us off, our first color family is the warm color family. So the first half that you can see up here. So we have red, orange, and yellow. Red is one of the strongest and most powerful colors on the color wheel. It invokes warmth, excitement, anger, love, and passion, and a lot of extreme emotions. Orange is similar to the red in that it has the same strength, but with yellow combined, it makes it more friendly and a cheerful color. Orange is a very approachable color and is associated with happiness, creativity, humor, determination, success, and encouragement. Meanwhile, yellow reminds us of sunlight, happiness, and springtime. Along with elevating our mood, it can stimulate mental activity and the muscle energy. Since this color has a strong effect on our emotional and mental state, it is best not to use yellow in rooms that are meant for rest and relaxation. So some examples we see. Red is ideal for restaurants, retail spaces, and hotels because it's effective in driving interest and awareness. While orange is a color commonly used in creative companies, such as their offices interiors. While hospitals, schools, restaurants, and retail spaces use this to foster creativity and rejuvenate our spirit. Meanwhile, yellow is great in different areas such as schools, for lunchrooms and hallways and even playgrounds. It is also used in retail spaces for hotel accents and healthcare facilities because it is an optimistic and color in nature and high in energy. So now for our second color family, the cool family. We have green, blue, and purple. Green is the most relaxing hue as it automatically be associated with nature. Its healing properties encourage endurance and growth. While blue, like the sky and ocean, reminds us of tranquility, calmness, and purity. It is a symbol of compassion and truth. We associate this with knowledge and significance. Purple is often associated with royalty and power, luxury and wisdom. It reminds us of a sense of mystery, magic, and creativity. Purple can also have strong religious significance. So some examples we have. Green for companies looking to inspire innovation. Hotels, schools, and retail spaces also use this. For restaurants, it's used in promoting organic or vegan menus. So if you want to create a space that has an authoritative or dependable feel, our second option, blue, for office spaces, hospitals, healthcare, retail spaces, and businesses that want to show dependability. If you want to create a high-end look, the right shade of purple is used for luxury brands, and deep tones can be used to modernize design, while lavender or lighter hues for traditional spaces. So lastly, we have our neutral family. This consists of black, gray, white, and brown. If you're looking for power and elegance and sophistication, these are the colors to choose. Black is great in restaurants for exterior accents or hotel interiors, while gray is well suited for hospital environments and clinical interiors. White we find in hospitals and healthcare centers, high-tech company exteriors with modern hotels. And are you still wondering about that question earlier? So, which color did you all think makes people more error-prone in the workplace? White is actually the answer. So be cautious when using white and not to overuse it, as it can become overwhelming in spaces and lead to employees making accidents. If you want to create a more natural, comforting space, brown is a fantastic color choice for coffee shops, restaurants, or even lobbies. A darker brown can be used in executive spaces so that it creates a sense of inspiring trust and belief. So we have some examples here for black in a lobby space as well as gray. And for our last example, a mix of all of them, white, gray, black, and even brown. So now that we have the basics of color theory, they're very helpful when designing an interior or exterior space for a commercial client. But what are some of the questions that you can ask to better guide your client conversations? Some key questions to gain better perspective include, what does your company do? This will help tie in the brand identity to your design. So take a look at the logo, website, or even business card to determine a few paint colors. Who is the target audience? Creating an inviting design is good practice to keep in mind their target clientele, because we want to pick colors that associate and appeal with their emotions. What is their surrounding area like? The exterior is one of the biggest challenges when selecting color, because if the building sits within a historic area or an industrial park, there may be a limited palette to choose from. Lastly, what are some architectural elements in the space? We want to highlight different elements with the appropriate color, applying contrast where needed. While it may seem overwhelming to get all these information at once, it will help to better have answers as possible so you can guide your client in the right direction. Now, to talk about individual sectors, starting off with hospitality. The industry centers around service industry, so hotels, restaurants, fitness clubs, and etc. One important thing to keep in mind is that when it comes to hospitality, the business comes first. So, some of the current trends we are seeing within hospitality include personalized experience. This is applicable to most hospitality sectors, whether it is a restaurant, boutique, hotel, or other. So the focus is on creating a memorable experience rather than offering just services. Hotels are trying to create a home away from home for their guests by using vivid combinations or eclectic elements. After everything we've seen this year, do we believe the hotel industry will change? If so, how? Feel free to answer that question in the comments, and we'll get back to that at a later time. So now for future trends, the post-pandemic hotel. In the near future, what do we think the post-pandemic hotel will look like? So let's focus on elements that we need, limiting interaction between staff and guests, so that it can be done possibly by implementing touchless check-ins with temperature checks, as well as doors that could be opened without touch, so by using your smartphone. So what does a post-pandemic hotel look like? UK architecture studio Mansur Practice has released a design concept for post-pandemic hotels. They emphasize that these hotels will embrace touchless access and limit in-person experiences, such as receptionists. So, for example, as you can see in the drawing to the right, you can see that there is an automated check-in process. For rooms, the key concern for guests will be cleanliness, and the studio goes as far as to suggest that consumers will demand one-way systems and larger rooms with built-in gyms. So this would mean that before you visit, you would check in which equipment you would like for your stay and have it placed in your room upon your arrival. So how do you think this will impact color choices? Our next trend is for food industry. These influences for the restaurant choices, such as appetite, is being strongly affected by color and light. So, as we have seen, restaurants have had a very difficult time adapting in the last few months. So, in an effort to help consumers bring the restaurant experience home, their clients have, while sheltering in place, the food industry brand DoorDash has created restaurant-inspired Zoom backgrounds that can be used for virtual dinner parties. The new Zoom background is a part of a program called Lunchroom, which is to create a user experience in dining. So you have not only your visual element of being in the restaurant, but also auditory by having a Spotify curated playlist that matches the mood and atmosphere of those settings. So this trend is in for bringing the experience home and will greatly impact hospitality for home interiors. So now for our color trends. For the hospitality palette, we have the following colors. We have a morning song, which is a clean white, muted melody, which brings a feeling of serenity, temple of gold, a mature yellow, escape the everyday, a deep teal. And it is always good to remember that colors should be chosen depending on the location or local customs to give more character. Paint is a way to highlight or blend strategic locations, and entrances and lobbies use a strong color to make a positive impression. All of these colors mentioned today can be found in our color sheet. So now for some examples. So it is important to understand that palette examples need not be literal. Slight shifts are understandable for reasons discussed previously, such as branding, target audience, or even landscape. So these are what we see here are tonally similar to the inspiration, but with some adjustments. So the mature yellow has been adjusted with a neutral, but overall continues the same sense of feeling. And that could have been before several reasons, such as limited furniture availability, branding, customer expectation. Regardless, the mood is still similar. In our next example, for a hotel suite room, we can see that the teal has been darkened considerably to allow for a more restful state. This variance is still making the setting as a whole feel like it's part of a larger identity and branding. Now for retail. Retail covers anywhere that stores and goods are being sold by a client. So it is important to the product takes center stage while maximizing the customer experience. For retail projects, it's important to keep in mind functionality, brand identity, creativity, and uniqueness. And of course, it is always good to keep in mind the client's budget and schedule. So some current trends we're seeing in retail is the experiential retail that has led stores to being reimagined from product personalization to multi-sensory shopping. These experiences have interactive and social interactions are at the heart of this concept. So we are looking at this concept as being retailtainment, so entertainment in a retail space. Retailers bring the shopping to new heights by providing fun and unique experiences. As mentioned in a previous webinar, when we think about convenience as a retail concept, it is meant to be providing a product or experience within a reasonable walk, drive, or perhaps on the way home from work or in a town nearby. Driven by our technology and on-demand culture, younger generations of consumers have grown up with media and services that are available at the push of a button. So anytime, any place. Today, convenience is on the basis of loyalty. If things don't take place easily enough, they shut down fast. We're evolving toward a world of extreme simplicity. There we go. So convenience is going to continue to grow as a trend. If we now look at DHL as an example, they are offering plenty of retail service point locations for customers. But now they're introducing their very first mobile service point in the shipping industry. This mobile flexible shipping solution was created to increase accessibility and can be relocated to suit the changes to local shipping as needed. To support social distancing, the service point also offers a call-ahead service which offers the benefit of reduced wait times and helps save consumers a trip to a physical store. Another example of convenience is what we're seeing in Moscow. Zippin recently opened its first of its kind cashierless store within a store. Supermarkets in Moscow, while are going totally cashierless, this application sees most stores converting an aisle within its store to a place where shoppers can use their mobile phone to enter the shop and check in seamlessly. This project is working with banks and credit card companies so that a linked payment card may be used and shoppers can simply exit when they are done. Lastly, our future trend example for retail is Diesel. The company has recently launched a hyperroom, which is a 360-degree digital platform exhibition space to facilitate orders for vendors and buyers. Through virtual showroom, Diesel aims to streamline the order-taking process and minimize the fact that company exchanges with clients cannot take place person to person. Buyers are also connected with a representative through this process, and the simple interface provides the buyer with an overview of selections when they're ready to finalize their order. So, for the retail, some upcoming trends we are seeing in the industries. What are ways we feel that these could be applied to coatings? For the retail and color trends palette, we have a variety of bold hues, starting with Luscious Lemon, which is a twist on the traditional sunny yellow to create an attention-grabbing space. Spring Cosmos, which is a distinctive and bold hue that can revive any space. Next, we have Primo Purple, a plum hue which awakens your senses and creativity. And finally, Sapphire Gem, which is a bright hue that sparks innovation and elevates any space. So sometimes a physical landscape of a store cannot dramatically change to meet trends. However, retail often uses window displays as a loophole, expressing trendful and exciting settings to showcase all the items and colors, of course, that can be found within. Our next example is a window design again. So we have those color trends that don't have to be taken strictly, like we saw in hospitality. So this color selection is more cool, but with that dollop of a buttery yellow, which is high gloss to create a contrast of the dividing spaces. Now, our next sector, education. We're talking about a place where children and adults are learning new skills, from preschool to post-secondary and anything in between. Color can vary depending on the age of those who attend, and from bright primary colors to organic neutral palettes. Our next trend is how the explosion of technology has taken over in the past few decades. We understand that Microsoft has conducted a study that looked at the attention spans overall between 2000 and 2015 during the dawn of the mobile revolution. It was noted that attention spans decreased by an incredible 4 seconds, from 12 seconds to 8. This drop is largely blamed on the nature of technology and the constant stimulation of viewers. So again, as we ask ourselves always, how will marketing and color grab that attention back? So we can see that millennials, for example, who have largely grown up with technology at their fingertips, have distinct characteristics from Gen X and boomers who came before them. So it's important to understand this impact of the customer behavior. Brands now have a short amount of time to get their message out there and connect with their key demographic. So how can we use color to grab that attention of the consumers again? All right, so the next trend we're seeing is one for coding. So the future trend is about increased student learning. Well, as we've heard, coding will be crucial in the future to navigate as more technology-focused society. How can we prepare? So one of the ways is through this example, where a coding toy teaches children ages 4 to 12 to code through play. The child will go on a journey through basic code logic to true coding mastery while playing. Children can start having fun right away with locomotives by creating their own train tracks. The color car enables them to learn basic color or code logic entirely screen-free. Each additional train car adds a new function and is programmable through the Locomo Go app. Therefore, they can create more fun and opportunities to play and code. Best of all, you can create your own tracks on any surface, whether using a tape or drawing on a piece of paper. This is a great example of being prepared for a future without spending hours in front of a screen. So, our next example is a talking bottle. A wine bottle that talks. Yes, indeed, a wine bottle that talks. Have you ever gone to a store and had a few questions to ask, but there's no one nearby or personnel? So this is where the talking wine bottle comes in. While it's in its early stages, we see many applications go through a variety of industries. So how does it work? With your smartphone, you can scan a wine bottle by using AR technology, and a little assistant shows up. And you can ask a question about a product, which will now be answered by an assistant. So those frustrated shoppers with product-related questions will no longer have to wait until a shop assistant can help. They can have the product tell them the answer instantly. All they have to do is ask. So a video was posted, and we have that to play. So I just want to remind you all that you may need to lower your audio for it, but hopefully it comes through at an equal level.
So
here we have the video.
Just pop over and oops, there he is. That's our little guy, and I'll just, you can see he's there in 3D, but he's not over here. Sorry, I'll put over the wine there. So, and he can answer any questions that we like about the wine here. So I'm going to ask him a couple of questions now. Could you tell me the tasting notes for this wine, please?
This is a classic Pinot and cherry flavors and a touch of vanilla and chocolate upon a silky smooth.
Could you tell me the food pairing notes that go along with this wine, please?
This one can be matched with a wide range of hot and cold treats such as prosciutto and barbecue.
What is prosciutto? I've stumped him.
Prosciutto is made from the hind leg of a pig, i.e. the ham, and outside Italy, calling it prosciutto indicates a ham that has been cured.
So just to recap, that was the talking wine bottle. He was able to ask questions about not only the bottle of wine itself, but even a general question of what is prosciutto, and the robot was able to answer him. So the applications of this could be groundbreaking. So for now, to talk about our color trend palette for education, we have Promise of Spring, which is a delicate shade of mauve that unleashes our imaginations. Red Jasper, which is a cozy deep red, which has a sense of warmth and stability. All is Well, which is a modern twist on a classic green hue as we push forward into a deeply technological era. And finally, we have a soothing, calm color, Island House. A very fascinating combination. So for our first example, in a adult education area, we have softer and a softer and colorful approach to adult education settings. While this example for young children teaching in schooling, we're letting the architecture be the focal point. So we can see how color plays a back role in enhancing qualities about the architectural structure, that it brings out those details that may otherwise be overlooked in such a grand structure. So now here's our official palette for 2020 and the color trends. If you would like to know more about them, feel free to look at our blog on colorinsights.com. So, and always, no matter what color your clients are looking for, Colorful can create it. So, if you would like to learn more about color trends, and Color Insights can be there for you. We will start offering more training sessions to our members, beginning with color psychology next week. It will be available on demand on our website. So please talk to your local sales representative to get started. And now we are at the Q&A section. So I hope you have enjoyed the webinar so far and found some inspiration. At this time, if you have any questions, please feel free to enter them using the Q&A function, and we'll answer as many as we can. Thank you. All right, so just looking back at our chat, I can see that we had a few submissions for what we thought that employee error-prone color could be. Great job, guys, you got it right. And then we also have a question about, a comment that there will be more clean areas and less contact between staff and guests in hotels in the future, which very true. So whether that be touchless door entry, or remote sign-ins for receptions as replacement, the future is boundless. So let's check our Q&A section if we have any questions coming in so far. And again, there's no open questions at the moment, so feel free to type them in and we'll take a few minutes. So if you have noticed, I'm standing in front of our beautiful color trend displays. We have our 4-foot color chic trend display, which houses all 1,200 of our chip colors. And of course, to my other side, we have the solid chip display, which houses 150 trend colors as well, and a section of off-whites, of course. So I'm just checking. I believe we got a ping for one more comment or question, perhaps. So we have a comment about the wine bottle being very interesting. Yes, we definitely agree. We even see that it has a curious application potentially for paints. Let's say if a consumer is at a store and they have questions about a paint color that they're buying, maybe all they have to do is scan a QR code and a little assistant comes and talks to them, maybe about the gloss levels that it's available in, whether it should be used with a primer. Again, the possibilities are endless. So at this time, it doesn't look like we have any other questions or comments. Oh, we have a raised hand. So feel free to add your comment or type in the Q&A. So again, while that's being typed in, just so we all know that all the colors discussed and all the colors that can be found on our blog are within the Color Chic fan deck. And we can have more information and discussions about that on either our Color Insights Instagram and the blog, of course. So we have a Q&A ping. Let's see here. So we have a question in which what would you recommend to improve concentration levels? So whether it's a boardroom or education. Oftentimes when it comes to focus colors, we gravitate to warm colors because those kind of activate our brain. So whether that be a yellow or even potentially a yellow-green could be possible. Again, you always want to keep in mind the branding. So if your branding colors drift to warms, like reds and oranges, then maybe adapting an orange to be that attention-grabbing hue. It also speaks a great level of confidence to paint your room in orange. And otherwise, perhaps a yellow or a yellow-green would be the answer. So again, warm colors would be the solution. So we have another question. So what would be popular color trends for paint stores during the pandemic? So popular colors at this time, I believe, are comforting colors. So we have soft pastels because people are looking for a sense of security and comfort in this time. So whether that be grays or neutrals, or perhaps something with just a touch of color but still soft, anything within the neutral and muted range is what we're likely seeing. There will, of course, be those pops of color. There can never not be pops of color because we need something to contrast against those muted hues. So sorry, that was a long answer. But yes, so thank you again for those questions. If there are any more, feel free to comment. Otherwise, we can move forward. Sorry, I'm just bouncing back and forth between camera and, of course, the screen. So it doesn't look like we have any more at this time. So allow me to close up. So again, this wraps up our presentation, and I want to thank you all again for attending. I hope this has been an inspiration for you, or at least gotten some thoughts progressing in your mind as what will evolve post-pandemic, and of course, the trends of the future for commercial. So if you're looking for any more information about Color Insights, feel free to check out our Instagram or website. We have details about memberships there as well. So thank you again. Goodbye.